The first vocabulary word is proxemics. Proxemics is how people use space in their everyday lives. We see this a lot in the workplace where we have people who work in cubicles and then we have the big main boss in their main office. The difference of space just shows who's in charge and who the main boss is. We see it in schools, we see it everywhere. The next vocabulary word is gestures. Gestures are a movement of the body, your hand, your head. Sometimes, we do signs such as the peace sign. It's nonverbal communication that we really have to watch out for because sometimes we might offend someone from a different culture because it can have a different meaning than what we are used to. So since you will be interacting with other cultures, it is important to know how they are. We are now moving on to the next vocabulary word, which is non-contact cultures. Non-contact cultures are culture groups in which people tend to maintain more space between each other. They touch less often, and they are just not as, they like to keep their space. Some examples of this is Great Britain and Japan. They are just, more comfortable being away from other people and just having their own personal space, which is understandable since that is what they are used to. So if someone from a different culture is used to touching and they meet for the first time, it might be a little awkward or it might be a little uncomfortable at the beginning since they both don't know their perimeters. So we just finished non-contact cultures. Now let's move on to contact cultures, which are cultural groups in which people tend to stand close together and they touch frequently, they interact with each other a lot, they're more comfortable being close to people. Some examples of these are people in South America, Middle East, and Southern Europe. These are, for example, if you've ever gone to a party and you're meeting them for the first time, and right away, when you meet them, they give you a hug, maybe a kiss on the cheek. And if it's something that you're not used to because your culture is a non-contact culture, then it can be a little awkward at the beginning, but they're just very welcoming and very friendly, and it's just part of their culture and who they are. The last word is prejudice. Prejudice is a negative attitude towards a culture group based on little or no evidence. It springs from stereotypes. It's based on nonverbal actions or behaviors. For example, if there's a couple dressed nicely at a restaurant, they might get better service than someone who's not dressed as nicely. In my little example, you see a girl who sees a guy in a suit and right away she thinks he must have money. And then the guy next to that guy is one who's dressed a little more casual, and she sees him as being less because he's not dressed as nicely as the other guy. But little does she know that the other guy actually has a better job and he has a better education and he's very smart. I hope these 5 words are useful. Have a good trip.